This company has $4.5 billion in revenue, and that is a lot of revenue. I know Red Bull was killing the game, but Red Bull has their whole media side of things, and Red Bull goes really, really hard to brand itself and put its name out there. I was not aware that this company, Monster, MNST, this company, Monster, MNST, which is listed on the NASDAQ, it is bringing in $4.5 billion worth of revenue, almost 4.6. The exact number is 4.599 millions. So $4.5 billion, almost $4.6 billion. That is huge for a company that a lot of people may not know about. And I know a couple of people who are really drink enthusiasts, and they may know, but for the rest of us, it may come as a shock. Like at 4.5 million or 4.5 billion, I would really start comparing this company to Coca-Cola, although I'm pretty sure Coca-Cola is hugely profitable and has way bigger revenue, but I did not know that Monster was in the $1 billion worth of revenue. They have a net income of 1.4 billion, I'm sorry. They have a net income of $1.4 billion. And this company also has a net profit margin of 30.65%. So this company is really running on all cylinders. And the reason why I say that is because last year, during the year of the pandemic, during the forgotten year for a lot of businesses, during the year where a lot of companies were reporting negative revenue, negative net earning, and negative net profit margins, Monster was killing the game. And it makes sense because they make beverages. People drink beverages when they are outdoors or indoors. So I thought that was really, really interesting that Monster just really crushed 2020, 2019. And to me, that is insane because we talked about Spirit Airlines. We talked about Louis Vuitton, LVMH. And we talked about, what was the third company? We talked about a third company, which I do not remember, but all of them had at least one negative number between those three stats. And I ran off all three of the same stats, but it's interesting to note that Monster Beverage, all three of their numbers for revenue, net income, and net profit margin are positive. And actually, they are the lowest year-over-year percentage change was almost 10%. So their revenue grew by almost 10% during the pandemic year-over-year. So they recorded actually 9.47% increase in revenue in the year 2000 compared to the year 2019. And their net income was up 27.27%, and their net profit margin was up 16.23%. So I am just shocked by those numbers, and I hope that now that I put those into perspective for you, that you are a little more interested in seeing those numbers, because it's a stark contrast to how the other companies performed during the pandemic. And obviously Spirit Airlines, which is the airline, they weren't really able to operate in the way they were operating before the pandemic, so they had some negative numbers. LVMH, they're a luxury retail. When people are taking care of their basic needs, they generally don't spend on luxury goods, but you do still have the very rich, the super rich, or the moderately rich, and the people who were employed working overtime if they got paid for it. Those are people who are buying luxury goods. And of course, in regular times, you got people who generally wouldn't be able to afford these luxury goods, it would be buying them as well. LVMH, they did a great job of keeping their numbers pretty decent during the pandemic. But I mean, so far, Monster is like the best company that I have reviewed and have really analyzed right now. And I haven't analyzed many, but just from those 3 points, Monster did really good during the pandemic. And I really would have to dig in deeper to see if this was a trend that continued or that existed before the pandemic. But that is really good news for anybody who invested in Monster. And as far as our hindsight goes, if there is ever a lockdown, if there is ever anything that really crazy goes on, you might want to look into stocks like Monster Beverage Company. And I am not sure what is their competitive advantage or how they stack up to the other beverage companies, but I would definitely like to look into the beverage industry. So stay tuned for that. I will do a review of the beverage industry, but I am shocked in at all about how well they did. So Monster is a fairly large company. They have a market cap of 49 billion. So they're not in the trillions yet, but they are in the billions, which makes them a large cap. I don't think that they are the largest of the large caps, but they are really in there within the medium to large cap stocks, which is very important to know. Have an enterprise to sales value of 30.65%. And I mentioned that stat a couple of times in the last few reviews of business. And the enterprise to sales value, it really takes into account companies' worth, but it does it in a way that's unique to this price to sales earnings, I believe, because it takes into account a company's debt and it takes into account of a company's equity. So you're really getting a more well-rounded, detailed analysis of the company's total value. So that's important when you're looking at the enterprise to sales ratio.